So the carbines are kind of the underappreciated assault rifles, but unlike the assault rifles, the carbines can be used for each and every class. And now some say that the carbines are not as powerful as assault rifles, and some say they are as powerful, but there are without a doubt a couple of carbines that deserve a bit of extra attention. So that's why I made my top 3 carbines. Now of course there are more than 3 powerful carbines in Battlefield 4, but this is just what I think is the top 3 that you should definitely give a try. Now at number 3 we've got the M4, which feels and looks kind of like the M16A4, which is an assault rifle. Now the M4 is a burst fire weapon with a very short reload time, which is very handy when you move from target to target to have such a short reload time. Now another reason why this gun deserves a spot on number 3 is because of the low hipfire spread. Really, if you're gonna face someone in close quarters, this gun is really good to use. Sometimes you have to be careful because if you tap fire too quickly, because you have to keep in mind that this is a burst fire gun, but if you burst fire too quickly then this gun will jam on you. But if you have the perfect timing then that should not happen so often, and because of that low hipfire spread, targets go down very quickly in close range. Now also the recoil on this gun is very manageable and easy to control, but you'll have to adapt your playstyle with this gun, because playing with a burst fire gun is very different than playing with a fully automatic assault rifle or carbine. You'll have to move from cover to cover a lot more, and if you're not used to that then that may be a disadvantage for you, but overall I think that this gun performs really well and definitely deserves a place at number 3. So at number 2 we've got the Ace 52 CQB, also known as the Powerhouse. This gun has a really high damage model with a maximum damage of 34 and a minimum damage of 20. Now to compare this, most of the other carbines only have a maximum damage of 25 and a minimum damage of 18. So the advantage of this gun seems very obvious to me. You will drop people very quickly with such a good damage model. Now the rate of fire of this gun isn't very high. 650 rounds per minute is definitely not very fast, but with that damage model you don't need a high fire rate. Now this gun does have a little bit of extra recoil, but it is very manageable. You will feel it whenever you play with this gun that there is quite some kick to this gun. But if you tap and burst fire and trying to counter that recoil, taking out people at long range should definitely not be a problem, because you don't need many bullets to kill your enemy. A couple of bullets and bam, your enemies are all dead. No need to worry about that little bit of extra recoil. Now one thing that I have to say, which is kind of a downside of this gun, is that it only has 25 bullets plus 1 in the chamber in its magazine, which compared to other carbines isn't very much. They usually have around 30 and 31 if you count the one in the chamber. But without a doubt I think that this is one of the better carbines in the game. It might take a couple of rounds to get used to this gun, but once you get the hang of it, it really does perform outstanding. So definitely worth it of a number 2 spot. And now at the number 1 spot we've got the AK-5C, which is the very first carbine that you ever get. So what makes this gun so special and why does it take up the number 1 spot? Well, first of all, I think that this gun has no weaknesses. That is its strongest point. There isn't one weak spot that I could find on the AK-5C. The gun has an average damage model, an average rate of fire of 700 rounds per minute and a very short reload time, which is always useful in those close range or medium range firefights. Now one big plus side for this gun that I found is that this gun has very little recoil. I mean, it's very easy to pick off enemies that are medium to long range distances away from you. Well, of course, if an enemy is a very long distance away from you, then you'll have a little bit of trouble taking them out, but that is in fact the case with many of the carbines. So as for most of the carbines, they often have one good point about them and one very bad point about them. But that is the thing that I found about the AK-5C. There are almost no weak points and everything is about average, which does make this gun very outstanding. So I definitely think that this is the most versatile carbine compared to all the others, and therefore I think it deserves the number 1 spot. So the video is coming to an end right now, and if you have your own carbine that you really enjoy using but that didn't make it in this top 3, then please feel free to leave that in the comments and please tell me why you prefer that carbine. And if you enjoyed the video, then don't hesitate to hit the like button, as it really does help me out a lot. But anyways, this was Hyper, and I thank you all for watching.